Here we are, Monday the 14th, and I wanted to take you and show you the results of our efforts on our food plots. Now this was planted in Forage Oats and Whitetail Institute, and it grew in fairly well for the conditions it had. Now we had the radishes over here, and they got right in this area in here, but as you can see there's none of them there. They did germinate, but they got cropped off real early. But for the most part, the forage oats, what you're looking at here, did real well. Now we get up to these bare spots, and this is where I cranked on some winter rye, because the forage oats didn't germinate in a couple of these spots. So the winter rye has come along and filled some of them spots in. Like I said, I just put it in these areas, and it did germinate, but because it's a lot greener than it was. But you can look down there, and this was in an extreme drought conditions, ladies and gentlemen. Extreme drought. We had 1.4 inches of rain in the month of October. And you can see our efforts where we overseeded in the beans. We had oats, and I came down through here with winter rye. The beans got cropped off, but there's still plenty of bean pods on here. You go up through here, this is extraordinary. You can see the beans, and you get over in here where they were less foraged on during the summer. And there's a good stand of beans, which will really come into play once the snow gets on the ground. Right now they're feeding on the picked cornfields, but you can see the number of beans on there. There are a lot of them. But just remember, when you plant beans, plant a lot of them, because they start getting foraged on the minute they germinate. But I was just trying to show you this, and here's something really interesting. On the 14th day of November, the ground's not froze yet, but we're supposed to get some moisture, some snow, 5 below wind chill factors, so it's gonna get pretty hard pretty fast. Now once again in here we broadcasted the winter rye in this area because it didn't germinate. But look at all those hedge apples on the ground. That is a food source Mother Nature made, and it's just tremendous. Those deer will eat those all winter. Just amazing. But all in all, for the drought, it greened up pretty good. But boy, I'll tell you, it can be frustrating. Now over in here, I want to draw attention to this. This is your no plow product, and I sent an ex-Marine veteran, Paul Biggers in Alabama, this blend, and he's planted it. And you got brassicas, you got oats, you got a mixture of a lot of different forages in. And that's been under some extreme dryness and extreme cold. And it's still green. And like I said, I ventured over here, and I'm doing this for Paul because he had some negative input. But that's pretty good forage right there, especially here in Iowa on the 14th day of November 2022. Now, once again, you can see the beans down here closer to the timber really got browsed off. But I overseeded this area with winter rye. So hopefully it'll come on. And then this is the area, this big area here coming along real good. Now keep in mind it could be better, but for a drought it did germinate, and it's quite a big area. And some of the bare spots I went over with the winter rye also. Now this part back in here was planted. This area in here was no plow. Went in here with no plow and forage oats, and it did great. I mean, I can't emphasize, for as dry as it was. I mean, the drought in southern Iowa was unprecedented, but they grew pretty good, and I just wanted to show you the results of the no plow tall tine tubers I got in here and wintergreens. And you can look up the rows of those beans and see where I cranked on the winter rye, because the forage oats didn't germinate. It was too dry for them. So what you're looking at basically in these green spots is the, what do you want to call it? But I want to show you something, emphasize this. This is one end of the bean field. They were cropped off to the ground. Now we'll walk up to the other end of this bean field. But I just wanted to show you Whitetail Institute product. They're worth every penny of it. They're not some off-brand seed. They've done a lot of research. And I don't get paid, or I don't expect anything for this. This Baraska is tremendous for as dry as it was. Like I say, October was 1.4 tenths of rain, basically none. But as we go up here, you're starting to notice the height of the beans are getting higher and higher from my hand as you get away from the timber. You get to see the beans. They've been browsed on, but they weren't cropped down like the other end closer to the timber was. And you know, like when I get up here where it's way far away from the timber, let's get over here. You can see almost knee high. They're a lot taller than my hand. That was back behind us. Back there, they were cropped almost to the ground. But up here, this is, there again, I can't emphasize to you guys, if you're going to plant soybeans, plant a lot. These beans are great up here. I mean, they're standing good. Look at the pods on them. Lots of pods. And they're all full of two beans in there. But it didn't come without work. And like I say, I can see where the winter rye is germinated in here, because I did put forage oats, but we had one strong 2-inch rain and it washed the forage oats into the cracks. But I came back with the winter rye and we got the job done. And you can also see the result of the conceal. It breaks that up, separates the fields, and gives security to the wildlife from the so-called, I don't know why they're looking in my field. I catch them looking in it. They'll have hell to pay. Anyway, like I say, here's more of that bean height. And there you can see for yourself. It's above my knee in here. That's great, real great. But I want to emphasize something. These don't happen on their own. I walk these beans, pulled velvet leaf. You just have to keep working. And sorry about the snot, but Anyway, a little bit of snot coming out of my nose is a lot less agitating as the bullshit coming out of Washington. So a little bit of snot on your sleeve ain't gonna hurt you. Those beans just did tremendous. And I planted them on like June 23rd, so they were planted really late. They did good. And that green field is just, it's a blessing from God. And don't ever think that you did all this by yourself. You might perform the labor, but as the saying goes, God helps those who help themselves. And to look out there and see that lush green forage oats from Whitetail Institute grown in such a, it's been browsed on, but you got variety, you got the beans, you got the forage oats. So I just wanted to bring you up to speed. I hadn't been on YouTube for a while, but this, my friend, is just tremendous. That occurred in some of the driest times of the year. And it's just a welcome sight. But like I said, it didn't happen without performing the labor. There's a nice big grub right there. Food plots are just up yonder. So as you can see, the bucks have been moving up through there. They got that tree tore up, and they got this other tree. Oh, there goes a rabbit. Now, friends, I'll tell you something. That's more valuable to me than a deer. The rabbits have been so scarce down here, I don't know if it was because of the coyotes, bobcats, or what, but there was another smaller rub, but it's all right in line. But if you plant food plots and think you're going to kill something, you better reset your clock in your mind, because the food plots are for nourishment into the winter, and it gives you something to hunt over, but there's no guarantee that you're going to kill anything off of one, because that's just the way nature has it. But it's a fulfilling feeling to know that you did provide a wintertime food source, and it's not out of a tin can or a pile of grain dumped on the ground. It's seasonal, it'll come and go, and it spreads the deer herd out all over the field, so all of them feeding out of a bucket.